Hello and welcome to Chit Chat Takeout.
Hey.
I'm ZenPho and this is my co-host Meg, who is currently choking. We'll wait.
I'm good. I'm good. Okay.
Gonna say hi?
Hi.
So, um, I actually want to start off this week with update on something I talked about last week. I mentioned how I don't like Amazon Prime anymore because I can't find anything good with any of its services. Like I find no use for any of the services. Well, I decided I was going to give Prime Video a chance again yesterday. And so last night I was flipping through, seeing if I could find anything. First thing I stumbled upon was a movie called Vamps. And I was looking at it. Seemed like an interesting premise and everything. And it was English. Didn't say anything about, you know, subbing, dubbing, nothing like that. So I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. And I swear to freaking God, like their mouths looked like they were speaking English, like the right words, but there was a delay. So whoever, so I don't know if it was dubbed over after
What?
or if it was just, like like somebody who was cutting it cut the audio
Did
like a
did it
half second later than than the mouth movements, or
did it seem like there were lips like
it seemed like they were speaking English. Like when you watch their mouths move, like it was the words that they said, but there was like a half second delay between their mouths starting to move and the audio starting. But I did end up finding a movie on there that I've been wanting to watch for a while. That for the longest time was only available on Hulu if you wanted to watch it anywhere. It's now on Amazon Prime. It's called Tombstone. It's made by the guys who do Neebs Gaming, which is another channel. But yeah, great movie. It's funny as hell, and that I was really glad I got to watch it. So one good thing came out of me having an Amazon membership. Now I don't know why I have one anymore, but I was able to
I
find
got
that.
to watch a 2-hour movie. It was great. So we're eating from Wendy's tonight. Um, I know that doesn't seem very exciting. We
It,
had other intentions tonight, and
we did, but unfortunately the place closed before we could get there. Unfortunate. Oh well, always next week.
poor planning on our part, but we'll work on that.
Yeah, we'll get it next week.
Yep. So, um, you start. Let's start.
You start. I already
Oh,
did. I already
I,
did.
okay.
I just said my piece.
Oh, you just said your piece.
I
Okay.
just wanted to do the update. Yeah, yeah, you're good.
Okay. I definitely need to chew on my fry here.
Num num num.
No, 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 no. So, this is something that I know you don't have a whole lot of information on, but I do because I definitely stay in tune of
This
all
is
the.
Disney related, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Disney Park related. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna zone out. You go ahead and talk.
It's actually kind of interesting a little bit. Um, so actually, this year is Disney World's 50th anniversary. They are turning the great old 50 this year. Um, so pre-COVID, they had the intentions of doing this giant celebration uh, of the parks and everything else, and um, so they were gonna be releasing a lot of rides. One of them they already released was the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which is already open in Hollywood Studios. It
Oh,
was
Minnie, you want to run away with me? I'm gonna make you say,
stop, please. Gonna chase all our viewers away. Um,
Would you
so
like me to bring out the Pooh Bear instead?
no, stop, please. So the other ride that was supposed to actually happen last summer was Ratatouille's Adventure, which is a copy of the one in France. And then two more, which is the Tron ride, which is a copy of the one in Shanghai, and the Gardens and Galaxy Composite Rewind, which is a whole new roller coaster going into Epcot. The Tron ride is going into Magic Kingdom. So, yes, I know all my information on Disney.
Why is Tron going into Magic Kingdom?
Because it's going by Space Mountain, which I'm presuming they're associating the like futuristic area of that world of Tomorrowland to the Tron ride. It's the same way as Shanghai. You're giving me the look like you don't know what I still don't understand.
I don't
Anyways,
understand Disney stuff. I'm sorry.
so, but because we live in this great world of COVID, a new development has happened in the last week. Of they have boarded up the Tron ride and have postponed the date the um the date that they are going to be released indefinitely. Which is the Tron ride and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride stops complete construction. Um, this could be due to money issues. This could be due to not enough employees. That enough employees can be around the same area because of COVID. There's just a multiple situations going on.
I highly doubt it's the latter of those, just because of how construction usually works. You wouldn't need that many people for something that large of a scale anyway, to be at least to be in close proximity.
Right. That was just one of the theories that I started a couple news articles. So another ride that has been delayed, but it looks pretty finished on the outside, and there's been plenty of media release of it looking pretty completed inside. Is the Ratatouille Adventure ride, which was supposed to open back in last summer. We're in winter now, so that ride has not opened yet, and a lot of people's tickets due to the situation going on at Epcot. They have never reached park capacity during it, so they're at 35% for all the parks in Epcot. Just never made it to that point. So they're worried if they open a new thing that they would be constantly hitting that point, and they don't want that to happen.
Why would they not want to get to their max capacity?
I think they're trying to keep everybody safe, to be honest.
Bullshit, it's Disney.
You're not help. Can I just have my topic here? Jeez.
Okay, fine. I won't do any more commentary. So.
No, I like the commentary, but it just seems like you're downing on Disney so badly.
Well, no, I was thinking of it from a business perspective. Why wouldn't you want to reach your
No,
max
I agree
capacity?
with it, but I think they're just trying to keep people safe because if they haven't opened any new rides since COVID. The only one that's recent is the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. The Mickey and Minnie ride. I want to just kind of call it that because I keep stumbling over the words. Um, is that uh, but that was open pre-COVID that they didn't know what was going to happen. So just to add in there for another bulletin to this, that Disney parks have lost over $5 billion during the pandemic. It had to furlough a lot of cast members. And Disneyland, which is the one in California, has been closed since the closure back in March. And also, the Hong Kong Disney has been also open, reopen, open, closed. It's just been off and on constantly. So that's that topic. Any thoughts?
No, no. I mean, nothing I haven't already said, and nothing that wouldn't upset you. By going into talking about people losing when it comes to money, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, for anyone who's not aware, no longer the richest man in the world. He was beat out by Elon Musk.
Oh, Jesus.
um, in at this is in less than a year, by the way, that Elon Musk had, or about a year since Elon Musk, that took Elon Musk to beat him. At the beginning of 2020, Musk was worth $27 million. As of last Thursday, he is worth 185 billion.
Is it because of space aspiration and also everybody's buying a fucking Tesla now?
Exactly. Well, it's mostly due to Tesla. Their stock rose, I think it was like 7 point something percent, like just overnight.
I started the process of buying a Tesla. It's intense. It's a fucking intense experience, but it looks like you're getting a really nice car out of it. I mean, if we
Oh,
had more charging stations here in Maine, I would think about it, but.
right. There is nice. When I was up in the county, there was actually one of the cars I worked on was for a guy who owned one of the first Teslas that came out, and I do work on it for him. A great car. But his net, but now Elon Musk is so rich, his net worth is higher than that of the former second richest person in the world. Just his net worth, not how much money he actually has. He beat out Bill Gates. Yeah, in less than a year. He beat out Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. This dude is filthy freaking rich now.
So do you do you think he's gonna be doing more crazy shenanigans now that he
I mean,
has
yeah,
all
he's
this
Elon
dough?
Musk. Yeah, he's gonna go nuts. He was already a nut. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the guy's amazing, but he's just
Right.
crazy. He's, he's got that genius crazy where they do the weirdest shit, and it somehow works out for him. I still don't know how to pronounce his kid's name though.
I don't remember anymore. It was some like Greek alphabet
It was
number or something like that.
it wasn't even Greek alphabet. It was some like he named it some futuristic Martian freaking thing. Yeah, that whole situation was weird. Like I
I
said,
don't
he's a
know.
weird dude. I like him, but I think he's a weird dude.
I don't know. Congratulations from making a company into what it is, but same time I'm like questioning your also what I saw of Tesla's issues last year. It's making me guess like how many corners are you guys cutting too? Like,
Out of all manufacturers, I think I've heard the least negative about Tesla's.
it was more or less the self driving feature that they had, the autopilot, and a lot of people are in the state of mind like, oh, it's autopilot. I could do whatever I want when I was in the autopilot. I don't need to pay attention.
Well, that's the driver's fault.
Right.
That's not Tesla's
I
fault.
don't know.
I mean, they specifically said, you need to stay focused, even if you're
Right.
not the one driving it. But I mean, it's no worse than I believe it was Mercedes. There was a bug found in their self-driving program where, and I don't have the specifics in front of me. I'd have to look it up again. But when it was in reverse, somebody could remotely take over control of the vehicle. And Mercedes' response was, "Eh." Like, no, 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 Mercedes. That's not an eh.
And that's not
It's like,
it.
yeah, it only happens when it's in reverse. That's still dangerous, though. like, there's there's a huge safety concern there for people.
I don't know. Like I said, if it was if we were able to do more electric charging here, I would so do it. I I think it's
I
I
mean, there's a
definitely
station right up the road, right up by what's that clothing store up there? One by Walmart.
Kohl's.
Kohl's, yeah. There's literally a charging station right there.
Oh, well,
Or
I
actually,
also meant like I would bought my own house that I can charge it while I'm at home, so I can
true, yeah. So
not sit there in a parking lot and wait for my car to
for
charge.
6 hours,
Right.
right? You can just charge it overnight and call it good. Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't blame you.
So yeah. Talking about futuristic. uh, new technologies. I guess our topics are kind of flowing pretty nicely today. Um, so LG and Apple have finally put their foot in the waters of bendable screens.
I heard about the Apple one. I saw the design that was supposedly leaked, and it looked like absolute garbage.
It looks like the same thing that the isn't it like the same thing as the Surface Pro one looks like? That it's like this gigantic hinge.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was thinking. Like, it looks like they're just redesigning the hinge for their hinge for their laptop. Like, it
Right.
doesn't.
So
I don't know. I'm not an Apple fan to begin with, so
no, me either. So the rumor was that they were in the process um, of designing two bendable screen devices, and they were only going to pick one, and it was going to probably end up being called the iFold, which is stupid.
I I just why not the Apple Fold?
Right. Or, like the Apple Pods. Or no, they want to keep the eye. The eye will stay as long as it possibly can.
Why, when they released the Apple Watch, did they make a big deal about it not being an iWatch? It was an Apple Watch specifically. Why are they going back to the eye now?
I don't know. It may be called the Apple Fold. That was just a rumor that I heard that it might be called the iFold.
That is the dumbest name I've ever heard.
So I find this funny because, as we know, Samsung and Motorola are the two biggest manufacturers right now that I know of that have developed bendable phone screens. The Samsung had two versions of the Samsung Folds, and they had the Z Flip, which was also another bendable phone. The Motorola had something similar to the Z Flip, where it was a smaller form factor phone, but it was a bendable screen.
I still can't believe Motorola's in business, to be honest with
Me
you.
either. Sorry, I'm joking again.
Gonna be okay?
Yep, I'm good. Let's take a sip of my Dr. Pepper here.
Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. I'm gonna get copyright strike.
so, um, so LG is not making a phone. They're making an OLED monitor where you can bend in the um the size of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
Why would no, 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 not ridiculous. Like, I'm picturing right now, like a regular computer monitor that you turn into one of those curved TV type things.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, so you can take a regular monitor, turn it into a curved TV or a curved
Yes,
screen to fit how you would want it to be for your
I guess
peripherals.
it's a good concept, but at the same time, like, how much is this going to be costing in comparison to a regular curved screen? You know what I mean?
Right, but I can see the market for that at least. Because I've thought about getting a curved monitor for my desk. Excuse me, folks. But my issue is it would be fine when I'm playing a game at my desk, but I wouldn't want to do any actual work on a curved screen. Like, I wouldn't
No,
want to have like my
yeah,
Word documents or an Excel document up on, because then that would just get weird having to turn my head like that.
right. So yep, that's where LG is. I think LG's trying to get away from like phone making. They haven't been doing so hot in the phone making business for a while.
Can't imagine why. Like I said, I'm surprised Motorola's still in business.
Right.
Like, does anyone own a Moto anymore?
What?
Does anyone own Motos anymore? Like,
I don't think so, to be honest. I
I see
did
them at
know
Walmart.
somebody in college that had one of the ones that had like the removable backs that you could put different like attachments to it. Like one was a camera, and then another one was a
Oh, the
yeah,
modular phones.
yeah,
Yeah.
the amount, yeah,
See, that's another one I really like the concept of.
but it wasn't done good though.
No,
Was
none of them are ever.
right?
Um, what's the name of that camera company that made one?
Was it red?
Yeah, Red. Red Camera made one. And for a camera company, you'd think they would have done a good job
Right.
on the camera aspect of this thing. And no, the camera was a hunk of junk. Like you could go buy a $50 smartphone
Mhm.
at Walmart and it would have the same quality camera on it. And
Right.
this was I think it was like $1,300 phone or something like that when it came out. Like, and granted, it's Red. Everything they own or everything they sell is expensive.
So, my next topic is well, it's a good thing that you and I both bought a computer last year and
I,
didn't get screwed over in our pricing.
I'm still waiting until I can buy a graphics card again.
Good luck with that one.
Mm.
So, along with our scouters that came a rise in 2020 and bought all the GPUs and PS5s that you possibly could
I'd
think of.
like to go on record saying that I think these are the same people that bought all the fucking toilet paper too.
Probably, I I heard of people doing this on a regular basis, like Disney. Disney merchandise is a hot commodity to buy as much shit as you possibly can, and then price it 3 times more on eBay. Like that that is a market, but it
Right.
got insane last year.
Right, but there needs to be some control over that too. Like,
Right. Oh, that was the thing is like I know Disney only allow you to buy like two things at a like two of the same thing at a time. They don't allow you to buy like multiple things unless you clearly have like three little kids running around. Then they might make an exception for you.
right.
But
And online, that's a little bit harder to control because you can easily write a
right,
script that will just keep clicking the buy button
right,
until.
and you could change out your credit cards. You could change out the person who's buying shipping addresses. You can change it. It's
Right,
like that information can easily be changed, and there's
right.
nothing that our website can prevent you from buying from what the
They can make it harder, but they
right,
can't make it impossible, yeah.
right. So that's what 2020 brought us. Guess what 2021 brings us.
I was going to say, is it already 2120? Jeez.
We're a little old for that. I wouldn't even be kicking by then.
You don't know that. You could be. You'd be well over 100 years old,
I was
but
just gonna say I'd be over 100 years old, but that would be a little insane.
maybe they'll
Um,
invent immortality this year. Last year was weird. This year's got to be weird too.
so um, so now we have this lovely thing called tariffs, which increases the taxes on imports from China from 15% or 20%, depending on what it is, which is increasing the MSRP number of a lot of the stuff that we get.
Yeah, those were put into effect last year, actually.
Oh, it's coming a ride now.
Yeah,
Well, I think
it was
I
signed into
it was
law last
signed
year.
last
Yeah,
year, but it started of January 1st.
right.
So now people are freaking out because now you even if you can find a GPU or you can find a motherboard or you know CPU or something like that, then you're more likely to pay probably another $200, $300, depending on what it is and whatnot. So it's
I'm
gonna.
not going to be able to get a new graphics card anytime soon,
No,
am I?
you're not. I think that ship has sailed.
Oh shit, guess I got to rethink that project then.
I think you should just settle with your laptop for now. And
But the only thing I need is the graphics card.
I
I'm
know
good to go.
you're like almost so close to building that PC, and you're just like, no.
All I need is the graphics card. Nvidia, all I need is a goddamn graphics card.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. Even um like 1660s and 20 series and forget about 30 series. You're never gonna get a fucking series
No one's gonna get
30s.
one. Ever.
No.
I don't even want a 30 series. That wasn't what I was after.
But like I said, you and I, we bought our computers at the right freaking time. So
Well, that's good to hear. Kinda sucks.
yeah, because
Though,
the article that I pulled are how companies are affected, and HP is one of them,
well,
and
okay.
MSI and all those places are affected. So
Well, Nvidia should still be good though. They're not Chinese based, are they?
let me check this article out real quick.
I thought Nvidia was based out of either Japan or Taiwan or one of the. Well, how's that tariff land for the whole Taiwan
It's,
v China thing?
so there's companies that are ran in the U.S. that
Yeah,
are
but
getting affected, that are getting hurt. So Apple, Google, HP, Dell,
yeah, because they
Microsoft,
all these companies import from
Intel,
China.
and that's it.
Oh, so yeah, AMD and Nvidia are still going to be
Yeah,
fine.
but
Like,
Nvidia screwed anyways because of scalpers. So
yeah, no. So yeah, unless you're buying an Intel graphics card, which I mean, honestly, if you're doing that, just why?
I don't think Intel has bad graphics cards. I just think AMD has better graphics. That not graphics cards. CPUs. They have better CPUs than.
And GPUs.
Well, yeah, GPUs true. But see, oh, maybe you can get Radeon when those come out. Radeons are supposed to be coming out soon too. So maybe the older ones might come out and
Yeah, maybe. Uh, I have to see how things are gonna go now, cause yeah, that kind of puts a whole stick in the middle of a big project I was working on. So
I didn't mean to
no,
make your
no,
night bad.
no, it's not you. It's not you. It's that whole situation.
So that was the end of that topic for me.
All right. My next two are actually gonna kind of run together here. So
Which is good. It allows me to eat my food.
yeah, there you go. You ever heard of Signal?
Nope.
When I was reading up on the whole Elon Musk becoming the richest man in the world, I saw he was posting on Twitter about how people should use this new social media thing called Signal. So I decided to look into it. And it's interesting. It's designed to be, you know, in competition with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever other social media app you have, with the emphasis on security, which I thought was interesting. No ads, no tracking, nothing, or nothing that would take your data. It has end-to-end encryption for all messages. It's a nonprofit, and surprisingly enough, not owned by Elon Musk, despite the fact that he's raving about this. It is an independent company that is not part of any big tech group, completely nonprofit. All of their income come from grants or come from donations that are on their site, which I don't know. I was looking at it. I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd ever sign up for it, but
Right. My only thing about that is that, um, like, how you're gonna get the mass people to join something like that? Like, everybody's like all about Facebook, all about Twitter, all about Instagram. Like, that's like asking like everybody in the world to use LinkedIn as their new social media page.
right. But you also have to think Facebook and
But your
you know,
average Joe doesn't care if their data is tracked or not.
no, but with all the lawsuits going on with Facebook right now, and they're getting kind of rammed up the ass by
Right.
along with Google and a lot of companies right now are being kind of screwed over because of their tracking and all that.
Right.
So it's raising some concerns for some people at least. But I mean, this could end up going the way of Google Plus too, where like, how many people actually use their Google Plus account? Though,
I don't.
though granted, Google Plus probably has more subscribers than Facebook because you just get one when you create a
Mhm.
YouTube account or any Google type account. You get a Google Plus account. So I'd venture that they have more, not necessarily more active users, but definitely more people who are
Have an
subscribed to
account,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Which this got me thinking into terms of social media. Everything going on right now. There's kind of a big controversy of should social media be able to dictate what people are allowed to say? And this one bothers me. And this is mainly due to part of me wants to say yes. There are some things that should just not be allowed on like that shouldn't be allowed, period. You shouldn't be able to be, say, pro rapist. You shouldn't be allowed to be pro pedophile, like things like that. But then you also have to think if the people who run the social media, if they disagree with you, say, you like the color blue, and whoever owns social media goes, well, everyone who likes blue is now banned from using it. Like, at what point? Like, how do you?
So I know what this is in reference to.
I'm sure anybody who listens to this will know.
Right. It's a. It, I agree with you that social media should that the individual company shouldn't have the right to dictate what you say on there. If you that's what social media is for, to sharing your word to the world. In the case that we are referencing to and what it
I'm
costs,
referencing to absolutely nothing, by the way.
I'm what I'm referencing and what it caused. I have resentment to it just because of what happened. It's a very disheartening situation, and I think social media was a big player in it, and I think the social media people had a good. Why are you giving me that face?
Well, now I'm kind of curious what you're talking about, but we can wait till after the stream because
Okay.
this wasn't what got me thinking of.
Oh,
Maybe we were talking.
I thought it was.
Nope.
Um, I think that the social media groups definitely had a say of what happened with that situation.
But to what extent should they be liable, and to what extent should they be able to control? Is my thought. Because yes, like I said, I agree. Certain things should be banned from society in general, and that should be a given. And it should be well known that if you do A, you're gonna get, booted. Or if you do A, B, and C, you're gonna get booted. But then, like I said, at what point does it become they form that social media group or whatever? Excuse me again, folks. That social media group changes from being open to the public to be open to just a set group of people. At what point does the segregation become an issue in this?
I see what you're saying. I just don't think a company will ever step in like that. I mean, they will probably flag it so the general public doesn't.
Well, the thing that I'm referencing, they did step in and they banned this, or they've banned a few accounts simply because they didn't like what
Okay,
was
that
being.
I don't agree with. I mean, you should at least, if it's misinformation that is looking like it's supposed to be true, then yes, I agree with them of
Flag,
flagging
yeah,
it
flag.
as misinformation.
Right.
That's totally understandable and definitely is the right thing to do. I don't agree that you should ban people's accounts just because they have a different view than what the company
Right.
has.
But even going to the misinformation thing, who is going to do, like, who is to say it's misinformation? Who does the research to determine what's truth and what's fiction? Because again, that can be a biased decision. I can write, the sky is red, and somebody over in India will be like, "No, idiot, it's black," because it's
Right.
nighttime over there. And here, or I said sky is red. I meant sky is blue. I don't know where red came.
Sure. Sure.
I don't know where the actually probably because I'm staring at a red straw. Um, but yeah, so like who how would you determine what would they hire on a whole team to just go sift through every post ever made
And
and
they probably do. Especially, I'm presuming Twitter. I mean, yes, Twitter is a big platform, but I'm presuming they have a team that will sift through that information.
but
And it probably goes to a different team to verify if that information is true or not, based off news articles or live events or
but you think
verified accounts.
millions of users, maybe only a few hundred employees that are able to do something like that. I mean, there's no way you'd catch everything. There's no way you'd be accurate 100% of the time. Maybe even
And maybe they have an algorithm that we don't know about too.
well, that's quite possible. But then at the same time, who writes the algorithm? Who's to say that what it decides is?
Well, that comes to, okay, YouTube, why are you recommending this to me?
I ask that question a lot. Like, YouTube, why do you think I want to watch this? No, YouTube, I don't want to see Powerpuff Girls trailers. I don't know why you thought that was a good idea. But yeah, so that this is just a question that popped into my head and a little argument I started having for myself of when is it too much? Because then I also think to myself, you don't walk into a church and start, spitting a satanic Bible verse or whatever. Like, that's just decent human beings wouldn't do that because there's a time and a place for everything. So, in a sense, that is also a form of censorship because there are some things like you go to a church, you don't do it. You go to a mosque, you don't do it. You go to a synagogue or whatever, you don't do it. That would be things that would be acceptable in, say a park or walking down the street. Like, you don't walk into Walmart with a cigarette lit, but I can go stand on the sidewalk with a cigarette lit and nobody's going to look
Right.
at me any different for it. So, yeah, it's just where does at what point should the policing take place, I guess, is my biggest issue.
Well, and again, I think about like the giant conspiracy theories on YouTube and whatnot. And I mean, they're not gonna flag for anything, not right now. But you know, is it them just flagging very popular accounts, or are they monitoring these little tiny accounts that only have 5 followers?
Right, and well, that comes in too. Would conspiracy theory be considered misinformation?
Right.
Is because 90% of the time, it's probably false. I mean, there's been a few that have been proven to be true, but not many.
Right.
So, yeah, that's another one. Like, at what point does that become fiction? Like, do you consider that fiction, or at what point is it misinformation? Because again, there's a couple storytellers that I listen to that, they'll either do their own stories that they've written or talk about another story or something. And most of those are fiction, they're fantasy based stuff. Are those going to be flagged for misinformation because it's fantasy?
I yeah, I see what you're saying, and that's that's concerning too. It's like, okay, well, how what do we gotta start tagging stuff as fiction and non-fiction anymore, or is this podcast gonna get marked as misinformation that we because we don't tell the news?
Oh, this podcast never claimed to tell the news.
Right,
We just happen to occasionally pick news topics to
right.
actually go over.
So I don't know. It's just gonna be.
I'd honestly go ahead flag this for misinformation. I think that'd be amazing.
And I guess my question is, what is the flagging going to do? If we'll just say somebody popular on Twitter posted something that wasn't true and got misflagged, and that people had tons of followers. What's causing the people to ignore that flag and just believe that person just because Twitter told them it was a misinformation?
Oh, people would 100% do that because
Right.
people are like sheep, and once they set their mind on something, that's what they do. And I'm no different. When my mind gets set on something, you can't distract me from it. Not
Right.
in the same sense, but like if I'm in the middle of a project, nothing else exists in the world to me. I am working on that project.
I don't know. I feel like if we're and the thing that I was referencing to earlier, I think Twitter had or the social media outlets, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't just Twitter, had the right to do what they did because other people would not take action for what happened.
Right, and well, then it
And
comes,
there should have been action for it. But nobody wanted to do fucking action for it.
like I said, I don't know what you're talking about,
Okay.
but we can discuss this later.
Yeah.
Another thing I gotta think about too, or everyone has to think about, is these companies are also privately owned. They're not, they don't have to conform to the Constitution. Like
Mm-hmm.
the freedom of speech, the First Amendment, doesn't mean shit to them. They
Right.
don't have to let you say anything if they chose not to.
Right.
Which at the same time is kind of scary in a world where most of our information is from an online source, which in itself is a scary thing.
Well, you and I started using Twitter more because of the podcast. Like, just to
Oh,
get some
that
more.
reminds me, I still haven't tweeted that episode one was out
Yeah.
yet. Oh, I should probably do that.
Naughty ZenPho. Back.
I'm sorry. You know what? When you're up until 3 o'clock in the freaking morning waiting for the thing to upload, you got other priorities.
uh, no, it's fine. But yeah, you and I started using Twitter this week because we were trying to find topics to talk about, and what's causing us to pull something that's not true. Oh,
It's quite possible. I mean, well, that's where the research portion of it
yeah,
comes in. You
we
double.
do research before we actually start posting.
It's become a really bad habit of mine to double check any source.
Right,
Like,
and I do the same. I don't.
like
I
it's a
don't.
really bad habit for me.
I do the same. I usually get my news from, like the overall Google News reel, and then I go look at the article, and then I might go look at 3 more articles talking about the same thing. If it's really something I can like see,
Make sure it wasn't published by the Inquirer or something like
right?
that.
You know, it
The Queen
usually
is a
if
reptile.
usually if I see most of my news are gaming news and tech news and also Disney news. So usually I have reliable sources for that stuff nowadays. Like, like a look at, my folks that go to Disney every day, but you know, I also look at my news articles. There's a whole Walt Disney news today that I look at, and also for tech news, I'm always watching tech reviewers and stuff like that. And gaming news, I'm always watching. You know, I usually go to IGN first, and then I go from there. So, I'm
But yeah, again, my point though is that in a world where most of our news is online, like
right.
once these media outlets start, or not media outlets, social media outlets start, declaring what can and can't be on there. At what point does it become one-sided? At what point are you only going to get half or a third of the information that's truly out there? Well, that's just food for
No,
thought. You know,
yeah, it's definitely food for thought because
this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night.
it's why ZenPho is so up until 3 o'clock in the morning some nights.
And that doesn't help that I also work nights. So. Yeah, or at least 2 nights a week I work nights.
hmm
Anyway, yeah. So
He's thinking about the 2 shifts he's got to do tomorrow. He's not looking forward to
nope, never do.
them. Yeah, work's been hell. All right, that's okay. I get to do this, and it takes my mind off it. So my last topic is a little more lighthearted and something you and I are probably gonna talk about for a couple more minutes. We're gonna talk about the games that shaped us to become the gamers that we are today.
Jack and Daxter, Jack 2, Jack 3.
I meant,
Jack and Daxter, the precursor legend, Jack 2, and Jack 3
I
are the
meant
games
talk
that
about
shaped
like
me.
how you got into games and what intrigued you about video gaming and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And you guys talk about the games that
do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm the one
Because,
with the topic and asking you, so
so, as far as video games go, I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. And my brother had a, wasn't an N64, it was an original Nintendo. Um, Whatever the hell it was called there.
it was just what was it? I think it was just called a Nintendo Entertainment
Yeah,
Center
it had
NES.
yeah, it had a long name to it. And there was a game that for years growing up I could not remember the name to. The only thing I could remember about it was that there was a snowman who could throw his head at people. I thought it was frickin' amazing.
Oh.
This game is called Clay Fighter, by the way. I eventually found it, and yes, I have an emulated copy of it because the game is still fucking amazing. But and yeah, watching him play that and getting to play, or my older brother play that, and then getting to play it myself when he was out with his girlfriends or whatever. Because when I say I'm the youngest, I'm 13 years younger than my brother, who is the one older than me. So I'm the baby of the family. So yeah, that's how I got into games. Was I found a game where I could have a snowman throw his head at somebody, and then from there that escalated into the Jack and Daxter series, which to this day are still three of my favorite games ever made. Like, just even replaying them as an adult. It's not as much fun because I only have them on the PS Vista, so it's kind of hard to play on that
Oh,
tiny
so you
screen.
knew my PS4 again.
Oh, I might steal your PS4, yes.
He keeps saying that he wants to play this, this, and this. He owns an Xbox, I own PS4, and it's like, you want to steal my
I
PS4,
don't
don't
even use my Xbox
you?
anymore. But yeah,
No, we've got
um,
giant ass machines now.
so yeah, those were the games that really got me into gaming. Was I loved the story to them. I loved the adventure. I loved that there was this weird little orange dude. I loved that your main character just had this spiky as hell hair.
All right.
And I don't know how that shaped me into what I am today because I don't find myself running around punching monkey dudes in the
But
face.
like,
So
did it help that you play these video games? Did it help get you into the field that you are in today of, working
no.
in an IT department and also doing this podcast and, watching the content you watch on YouTube or, the
See, I
topics?
don't know about that because I fell in love with technology before I learned, like, really got into video games. I think I told you this story before. I
Mm.
had this toy electric guitar, and I don't know what came over me one day, but I just had to take it apart. I had to tear the thing apart to figure out how it worked. And yeah, pretty much from that day on, it was if I could take it apart, I would find a way to take it apart. Couldn't always get it back together again back then, but I would find a way to take it apart, which is what got me into working with electronics and stuff. From there, working on computer, or actually from there it stemmed to working on cars for a long time. Got me into working on electric and hybrid specifically, which is how come I wound up being the guy that worked on the Tesla,
Hmm.
because nobody else up there knew how to.
Right.
Then I don't I don't know where it actually came back into being I wanted to work with computers. Like that just kind of came to me one day like this is what I got to do. And so I went back to school. Um, almost got my degree this year, final year of college for my degree in information security and network administration. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. Like it's one of the most laid back fields I've ever
Mm.
worked in. And it's something that I just know.
Right.
I can look at an issue and be like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Or I can look at an issue and go, oh shit. All right, let me Google it.
So, yeah. My story is not as interesting. Well, it is not at the same time. So, I was the only child of my parents. Thank God. Um,
You're lucky you don't grow up to hate all your siblings, but one. I like one of my siblings.
so, um, so I actually, my parents were not huge gamers. I kind of had to secretly find it on my own. My uncle actually owned a GameCube, and I would love to go over to my grandmother's house so I could play his GameCube and play a whole lot of Super Smash Brothers Melee. Um, I loved that game. Actually on my Switch, and I love Super Smash Ultimate. It's not as fun as Melee, but
See, my still to this day, my favorite Super Smash Brothers game is not an actual Super Smash Brothers game.
it's
It's
the
called Super Smash Flash, and it was a freaking
yeah, it was some
like
like
a
weird
fan-made game, and it
yeah,
was amazing.
it was great. I know exactly the one that ZenPho was talking about. I used to play it myself when we like downloaded it on like we downloaded it on our Macs, I think, and
Yeah,
like all of our teachers got mad at us because we did it, and we're like, we don't care. We're like, this is a free game that we got to play.
all right, it was amazing. Like I don't know why. What's his name? The creator of Super Smash there didn't. Excuse me. Didn't take any hints from it. Like didn't copy any of it because again, it was a fan-made game. It was free, and I don't even know if it still exists. I'd have to look it up.
Probably not, because all Flash games are dead.
Oh,
Wait,
Newgrounds was still up last I checked. So
um, Wayback Machine maybe.
yeah, would you actually be? I don't think you can actually play it if it was on there though. You can't usually run any code on that.
Hmm. We'll have to take a look at it later.
Like I said, Newgrounds is still up last I knew, so it might be
Yeah.
on there. It's full of freaking ads, but it was still up
Right.
last I knew.
So, eventually my mother had bought me a Wii for Christmas, and I had the cheapest games that you could possibly have for the Wii, except for Link's crossbowing training, which as ZenPho knows, I have a hard nostalgia for. Um,
So you say the cheapest games. I still think they were some of the best games made for the Wii, but
yeah, they were. It
especially
just
Sports Resort. That game was just
yeah,
amazing.
I had Sports Resort. I had Wii Sports. I also had Wii Play, which is like a arcade version of Wii Sports, and then it had some like weird shooting game, and um, I had Track Mania as ZenPho started me to play last night. I found it on Ubisoft. Had to pay for it, but I played the free version and had
I
a
what I don't understand that. Pay for 1 year to use. Like who? Why?
why
It's
to
not an.
play
It's not an.
fan made levels. They were all fan made.
Right. Like it's not like it's an MMO or something like that. I can see servers have to. I mean,
Right. Maybe it's a server issue because people are making these tracks and then posting
maybe,
them.
but how many people are making those tracks nowadays?
Right.
Like how many players does that game have?
I know it's a Ubisoft game that's like old as shit.
Like,
So
exactly.
that's not very. It's like skateboard Formula One racing. It's
That was a game that I loved as a kid, back when I was still a PlayStation kid. Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
you actually know. I actually saw a commercial for Tony Hawk today.
I don't
He
care about his new games, they suck.
well,
Underground 2 was amazing because you could build your own course in it. And just everything you could do was great. I loved it. That's another one I would play again.
yeah. So this weird ass commercial was talking about how he dislocated his fingers and that they had to cut his wedding band off. So Groove Ring apparently got him a new ring that was some like silicon ring for and it said Tony Hawk on it.
Right.
He was like super happy. I'm like, "Oh, why?"
Was it he doing an ad for the company that made the
Yeah,
ring? Yeah. I've seen those silicone ring ads. I
yeah,
don't under I'm not a jewelry person. Like I'll wear a chain sometimes, but
right.
like I don't like things on my hand.
I mean, if it's like a wedding band or something, then
Even then
the
I wouldn't like rings just aren't my thing.
right.
Rings, bracelets, like I don't know. I think
So
that comes going back to working on engines type thing, because you test the battery with that piece of metal. Go for it.
so um and then yeah, from there I became a huge gaming nerd, and it kind of enticed my problem solving skills, and I to this day remember of teachers in my high school getting the Apple TV cart and couldn't understand why the Apple TV wasn't working half the time with the projector, and had to show them how to do it. Sorry, I'm throwing some of my frustration from work into this
I was
conversation.
gonna say, and now she does that, except over the phone. She doesn't actually show them. She just tries to walk
Yeah,
them through it.
it's even more annoying because I can't just take control of it sometimes. Um, but yeah, I thought I was gonna go become a cook, and nope. Cooking. I like cooking. I don't see myself working in the kitchen, so I moved to I went to college for cybersecurity. Did not get my degree, but I'm working in the IT field and I'm very happy. I will eventually go back for my degree, just not right now, just because of yeah, life. So yeah, that's where gaming has brought me, and to this day, now I have all these fantastic adventures that I've gone on, and I'm super happy that I've gone on them.
I will say one thing about gaming. It probably is what turned me into a procrastinator. Because I can't remember as a kid, procrastinating on anything. But as an adult, that's all I do now. And usually it's because there's a game involved where I'm like, I just want to play 5 more minutes of this before I go out the door and head to work.
Right. Oh, I feel that. No, okay, sorry. My cat is just deciding to climb up on the table. She doesn't need to do that. But yeah, that was my last topic of the day. How was your Wendy's tonight?
Yeah, it was Wendy's.
It was Wendy's.
Have something better next week.
Yes, we have something real good. I can't remember us.
Well, don't give it away.
Is that chain even in like? Is it just a main chain?
No, they
No.
started in New York, so.
Oh, whoops. Well, that's a hint. Let's see if anybody can figure it out.
All right, thank you all for coming and listening to us rant and talk and do the rest of our bullshit. Um, yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at I don't actually remember our Twitter handle now. I'll have to
Is
look
it?
that up.
Is
Somewhere on the screen right now
it?
is going to be our Twitter handle. You can go ahead and click there to follow
You
us.
can also email us at chitchattakeout@gmail.com if you have any questions.
There is no at gmail.com.
At look.
At what?
Is it out? No, no,
No,
no,
it's ZenPho or
no.
Meg at chitchattakeout.org.
Whoa.
See, folks, this is why I do the network administration, not her. All right, bye.
Bye.